Welcome, everyone, to Enlightened Masculinity podcast. We're in the 300s episodes now and interviewed a lot of people from IMC and some repeat. And that's real exciting because they get to see their growth. We get to see their growth. Growth happens. And it's really a testament to manifestation and creation of your dreams and visions, because the more you talk about it, as long as you're sane, I mean, you could be insane and talk in circles, but the more you talk about it with people, get people's agreement on your vision, your dream, the more shit starts to move around and happen for you. And one day you find yourself in the condition you talked about 17 podcast episodes ago. And so that's really cool. The more times I get to see someone come on. So today we got Master Pyro. You know him. I know him. IMC, very special director, very important director of the world, celebrity director, music video director, videographer, so many, all the roles that go on with that. Great compilations, runs a modeling agency, Paradise Vixens, content management for these girls. And there's probably a lot more. You know, he's ex-military and he's had a life. So here he is living in a base, about to move to another base. So he's getting around in IMC Nation. Everybody knows him. If anybody knows that's on the inside of IMC, knows Master Pyro. And here he is on my show coming from Phoenix, right? Because you're still in Phoenix. So what's going on with you, man? How's your day?
Yeah, man. First of all, just blessed to be here. Of course, you know, always humbling to come here on this show and see a new layer of my evolution, you know, being in IMC Nation. And so, man, today was a very productive day. I did a lot of editing, a lot of planning, a lot of projections, if you will, and research. That's what my day was filled with today. So kind of what I've been, you know, got going on in the mix right now. But yeah, ready and excited to go to LA. That's probably the top of the list right now. I'm in Phoenix right now and in the midst of going to Base 3 LA. I'm aiming for that mid-October or the first week of October, somewhere around there. So fairly soon. So just getting ready for that transition. And it's going to be one that I'm going to be planted at in a while. You know, ever since I've been involved with IMC, my life has been on the travel, you know, living out of a suitcase, if you will. But it's a price very well paid to be where I'm about to be at in the next couple months, which is going to be based in LA with the crusades of IMC Nation and, man, just being amongst high-ranking individuals. So I'm excited for that transition.
Right on. I'm curious, why did you ever leave LA? Because you were there and then you went to Phoenix.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I already had the original goal was to be in Phoenix. Originally, what happened was in my transition from Florida to Phoenix, I had my car got messed up. You know, I got a oil leak when I was in the border of Texas and Louisiana. Ended up losing my car, basically. Long story short, ended up losing my car. And I was doing petitioning in San Jose at this time. And I remember I was at a meeting, I think it was a brunch or a lunch meeting. It was the sponsorship at the time. And I was talking to Oracle and Powerhouse, Lutzi brothers that I just mentioned. I was just talking about my situation, my transition to Phoenix. And in that conversation, you know, I wouldn't obviously be able to move as much because I didn't have a vehicle, and they just offered me to live in LA for some time until, you know, certain things got situated. So that's kind of how that whole situation happened. And then I moved back to Phoenix because this is where I wanted to. This was the most affordable place that I could move and be as close to AZD as possible. Because that was always my goal. How can I get as close to AZD but make as much money for myself as possible? And that's kind of how that juggle situation, you know, here and there. But I'm just moving at the next. What's the next step that I need to do? And that's kind of how it happened. It was Phoenix and LA, but right now it's definitely gonna be back to LA.
And so do you relocate like, I don't know how you do with the models, but I think your girl is there, so you just relocate her to LA too?
Well, that's the thing. Right now, I'm still on the fence how that's gonna go for me right now. You know, honestly, yeah, it's gonna be a very interesting situation because you see, when I first left Florida, I had multiple girlfriends. I had 2 girlfriends, on the verge of 3, if you will, but not to the level of commitment that I needed in my life to make that move. You know, 2 of them didn't make it. Yeah. And so now I'm evolving at a new level, and there's new standards and new boundaries, if you will. And I'm not too sure if that's going to be able to make it. So nonetheless, I still got to do what I got to do as an individual, as a man. Sure. And that's my next level. So whether she comes along or not, it's irrelevant in that sense.
So the modeling agency, are most of the models remote? I guess they're somewhere else in the world.
Yeah. So that's the thing. My core group of models or network, if you will, is in Florida. So that's where I was. I was living in Florida. However, in these model retreats that I've, just had the skill really to just keep going there, keep getting invited to go there. Yeah. I've been able to connect with a wide network of models that's throughout the whole country. Some of them are, New York, some of them in Atlanta, some of them in Houston, some of them in LA, some of them in Phoenix. And, but right now, since I've been, most of my motion, if you will, most of my moving has been on the West Coast, I've been able to generate some models in the area as well, here in Phoenix and in LA.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right on. There'd be a great collaborative effort that could happen there between our modeling agencies, Royalty Management and Paradise Vixens, but we could talk about that off the show.
Yeah, for sure.
At least I see potentials there. Run some ideas by you. So these girls, I guess here's a question. It's kind of it's something I had written down. And, I was going to kind of just continue with what I was just saying, but I don't want to get too into like your business process. I'm sure that's kind of like, that's what you figured out. You have figured out how to do business with models and make money and make fame with that. And that's that information, that blueprint of what to do, the business process is your creation. That is your innovation. And, it's your property. So, but I'm curious, what do people not know about these models that they should know? Not details of their life, but what are the guys that I see on right now? I'm sure they'd like to work with models. Yeah. From your perspective, what do they need to know that they don't know?
Yeah, man, that's a good question. Yeah, what they need to know is that it takes and this is not any like what's the word, like exaggeration of words, but it takes an immense amount of confidence and direction to work with them, because at the end of the day, they have their skill set, which I'm not going to knock their skill set. However, it doesn't surpasses the skill set of the director or the one that is in charge of the overall vision, right? So you got to have a lot of confidence and sense of direction and being able to improvise. And that's something that's very, 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 very key in working in these projects, because, some things go right, some things go wrong, some things go not all the way. And I feel like sometimes people think, well, this is a beautiful model, this is a beautiful girl, she's been doing modeling for maybe 4 or 5 years, I probably don't have to tell her too much, and that's not necessarily true all the time. I've known models that's been in Wiz Khalifa music videos, high level music videos, and I still have to direct them more than I would have thought I needed to direct them in a project. So I guess, having a tremendous amount of confidence behind your sense of direction in a project is very, very, very key, man. Like that's literally what helps me get through every project successfully with these models. Because anytime I leave it up to them, it doesn't never get too far, man.
No, of course. Yeah, I see a lot of that in what I do. And that's key. It's a key mindset to keep in mind.
Yes.
And it kind of answered my second question. You answered both the first and second question, but I have a third one. And this comes to your creative process. You've made these music videos for us, and I know you work with Zay about the storyboards and what have you. And, you've done many videos for us. So, do you have vision when you go in and like the camera angles are shot, like, what is it? Take us through the process. Like, do you acclimate to the environment and then start seeing, I'm going to do these shots, and you already see how the final video might look together before you even shoot it? Or is it more after the fact, like you kind of piece it together and you see it, like, as you're doing the editing, it unfolds how it should go?
Yeah. Man, it's amazing. Yeah, it's amazing how you say that, because, for a while, that's literally what Levels of Mastery, which is my show on IMC TV. I try to break down as much as possible when it comes to my process, because so originally what happens is, somebody gives me an idea of whatever it is, an overall idea. Maybe they don't. Maybe I get a song, something as a reference to start it, right? And as I'm listening to it, there becomes like, you know, insights or visions, if you will, like these little glimpses, like little flashes of images that I see. And sometimes it could just be one or two. And there's a certain frequency or vibration behind the feeling of what I'm seeing, that it's like the string that connects, right? And that's what I'm looking for. So every time I get that sense, it's like I get that image of that photo, if you will, and it's like I can backwards create whatever I want from that, or forward create whatever I want from that initial image that I get in my mind when I maybe hear a certain song, or it's a certain line, or it's the chorus of the line. Maybe the whole chorus gives me a certain angle or vibe of something, or maybe it's just the beat of something gives me a certain intensity of a vibe or something like that. And then from there, it just kind of unfolds on its own. I kind of allow it to do on its own. I don't really force it, you know. I don't like forcing anything, you know. Then I tend to back off of it, because then it's like I'm putting too much on it, if you will, too much weight on it.
Do you feel like you've maybe, do you study skill? Like you like, how do I say that different? You study techniques and like
camera movements, if you will.
Yeah, almost more. It's more elaborate than techniques. Do you study like a curriculum of videography techniques?
No. So maybe what I've done is, the only thing that I've done really is I got the understanding of, so put it like this. I started doing film, and then at some point I was like, man, I need to figure out, how do I compel an emotion off of a visual image, just off of the camera movement and things of that nature. Then I started studying directors or cinematographers or directors of photography, DPs. And I started seeing that certain movements of a camera, right? It can generate an emotion if you was to move it one way versus another way.
Now, is this, when you say you study these people, is it this?
I wouldn't say study. I wouldn't say it was really a study. It was just like an awareness, like just bringing an awareness that there is such thing called.
So just watching their work. That's my question.
Yeah.
Is like, is this them talking about their stuff, how they do it, or is this just watching their work? And
yeah, that's just me probably doing research as far as, okay, camera, you know, what's a high level cinematographer or videographer, and I might see one or two videos of them talking about, well, it's the movement, it's how you do this and that, and I watch them do it, and I watch them maybe describe a little bit of it, but it's just maybe, and that was like years ago. And once I got it's like I was able to download the understanding of that very quick. Like I just understood movement and feeling and storytelling all at one time, when I started realizing what it means to string across camera movements and composition and framing, right? And how to combine all these three in one. Just do basically, it's like the building blocks for visual storytelling, right? And so once I got that understanding, like it was just completely down, like, okay, I get it. I just been creating on my own, inspiration, if you will, but never really like took a course and hardcore studied it. I wouldn't say I did all that at all. I just figured out the concepts and understanding of like, okay, if I pan left and right, if I have a forefront, if I have a background, if this is still, this is not still, things of that nature, having the subject move across the frame versus me moving the frame, and seeing how does that feel on all those different variations, if you will, based on my own feeling of it. Then I say, okay, I can go with that, and which one felt more true, which one felt more congruent, all the way through. Like, so I'm looking for a certain frequency within myself that I'm matching to keep that going as much as possible, based on shot selection and what I cut out in the editing and what didn't make it. Maybe I had an idea what it looked like, but then when I got in the editor, I'm like, there's not enough time. Maybe that's another thing. So it's a lot of variables that goes into it. However, everything has been self-taught. And I'm looking to do that now. Now that I'm moving to LA, it's like the fucking mecca of creators and film directors and whatnot. I'm looking to actually start learning from somebody that has more years than me in the game and have more understanding. Maybe just something that I couldn't come across unless I meet somebody in the game. So I'm actually looking for that, see, maybe they can teach me some. I don't know. Maybe I already know.
There are levels to things, like, I could be the greatest yoga teacher in the world in a small group, but it's different when you teach 300 people at once. And there's just something different about, it's almost like learning public speaking or whatever, but it's still teaching yoga. I'm not just public speaking. I'm teaching yoga to a larger public. And there's a ways to do that that's different than a 12-person class. It's just different. 100%. So, and versus teaching yoga through a video, it's all teaching yoga, but it's like a different arena. So where do you want to be?
Exactly.
And, at the very least, plus of course, more experience in what have you, the buttons and everything.
Yeah.
So,
elaborate real quick. Yeah. I just used what was quickest for me. Like, what was the quickest learning curve for me? Like originally a lot of people
you just got your feet dirty, man. You got your hands dirty. You jumped in mud and you were just like making a mud castle. You're like, fuck it, I'm just gonna make it.
But like really like smooth it out. Like, I sanded and everything. So it looks like, it doesn't even look like it's made out of mud. Like it looks like it's made out of something else. But like, and it's something that I just, like I said, I took whatever was quickest to meet the learning curve, right? There's a lot of people that do like whole layouts and all that. And I kind of have it downloaded in my mind where I don't have to do it like that every time. And I'm sure if I do it that way, that's a whole nother spectrum of creating, but it's not as fast as how I know how to do it, improvise. Like I just improvise on the spot really well.
Yeah. I mean, I'm drawing a lot of analogies in my own mind to music. And that's why I was asking about skill and how you learn skill. Because when you're really proficient at skills, then you do kind of, you can start somewhere and build out from that and do everything that you're saying, hold on to a vibe, follow the trail of images or whatever. It depends how synesthetic you are, but like, there is some synesthesia at some level where you're playing a feeling or something.
I feel like it has to be a skill that you really want to have. Like you really want to have it. Like, it's just like learning how to kick a soccer ball. Like you just know how to kick it straight. And then you're like, what if I make this motherfucker, like, how do I make it curve though? Like, how do I make a curve this way? And you just sit there, you can't wait to wake up and go to and figure out how to just get it just to go a little bit. And once she's like, oh man, now I can now you're making it curve like on some like wanted, curving bullets and stuff like that. Like it's just some crazy, skill that you just want to learn so bad. I feel like if you don't have that burning desire of this skill that you really want, like not kind of want, it's like something that you just know, like, man, if I learn this, like, this is going to set me apart from anybody else and what they're doing. I feel like that's where you're just going to it's obvious. You're just going to go over anybody else that's just trying to do it,
Man, and the way you said that, the way you put that really good, because I had that when it came to wrestling and I had that when it came to music, my guitar. I had that when it came to my PhD, and I had that when it came to yoga. And then I found Arashdi Bazaar and I wanted it in terms of speaking to her genetics. I saw that's the skill that I want.
Exactly.
Now that I don't know if 10 years I'll change, but man, that's pretty good. That's like getting to the root of things.
But that's wanting it, right? And noticing like, okay, for the analogy, like the next phase of making it curve just a little bit more is maybe working on the avatar, saying this, practicing that, practicing your private moments, or practicing whatever it is that is just an additional to making the skill set a little sharper, or whatever it is that we're working on. So that's something that I've seen for myself, that I see words that relate to in different areas of my life in that level.
Yeah, I mean, at Mastery, there's going to be analogies to everything, and it's just the way you put it made me realize again that's why I left everything else behind. That I still do yoga, but not like I did, man. And I don't play guitar anymore. And like, I mean, I have it here, but I don't play it. Like, all those things, wrestling, even like I'll never get into wrestling and jujitsu the way that, I was into that. I'm into activities because my number one activity is here. I'm already doing it. And, communication and game is, that's where it's at for me. But that was just cool to hear you say it. And, something you said, and it's so funny. You said it like 10 seconds after I was thinking about it, was the timing of things, like how long it takes to edit versus shoot versus planning. Like, I'm sure those are variable, but can you give us a little breakdown about how you look at, scheduling yourself and what you think about when it's like,
Yeah,
okay,
man.
we need
It's
about
a
this much time
very,
for the,
it's a
yeah.
very interesting thing, bro, because you know, it's very interesting because I'm very good at just already having it pre-planned to some degree in my mind. And then so it's very interesting for myself when I get in front of the editor and I'm like, whoa, this is what a creative block feels like. Like, I don't know what song to find. I don't know what sound effect to start with. I don't know what should be the first clip. I don't know how the storyline is going to follow through because I'm missing this or I'm missing that, whatever the case may be. So there's these different things that come up that is like, okay, how do I relax into this, or how do I move forward, right? Without feel like I'm dragging like a ton with me. Because I don't like to create like that. I just have a firm belief that you shouldn't create with frustration, right? Figure out how to not create with some kind of sense of frustration. And it's difficult because there's certain things you just got to do as things go on. But that's where you start, for myself, that's when I start learning how to like calibrate myself, if you will, or just shift myself as is going on. Like, I have that reference like in the military where it's like you had to get certain things done to get to the next phase or something. Maybe it was like 40 something push-ups and it's like, man, you're like dying on the 29th push-up or whatever. And it's like just having the mindset of like, okay, once I get this over with, I could just move on. Like, so you don't do it out of frustration, you just do it out of just getting it done and moving on with something. And I see that with myself when I'm creating, a sense of having a sense of like, okay, I'm not going to get frustrated with, maybe not having this, or maybe not having enough time, or maybe somebody's, giving a certain amount of pressure, think is going to be a certain amount of time is going to be done, or whatever the case may be. There's a lot of different variables that go into producing a certain level of product, right? And what's amazing about it is that, okay, this is a practice that I got to go through every time to produce a high level product. So it variables as far as having a sense of practice. You said in the beginning, having discipline. Like the next level of my creation is going to be just discipline. How I discipline myself in between being able to shoot something in a timely manner, get it done, and get it to the editor, get it done, and then be able to get it uploaded to who needs it in a timely manner. So it varies, man, project to project and situation to situation, right? Because some project could be solely planned out, but something falls short. It could be vice versa. Last minute, everything just goes perfect, and it could be edited within a day. It could be 48 hours sometimes. Or I've been there where I had to sit on it for 3 weeks. Not even, okay, it just took that amount of time, finding the right song, different things that go into it. Maybe you got to add another scene, do a shot to it. It's a lot of things that go into that.
Yeah. So it takes a lot longer to edit, I assume, than shooting it.
Yeah. Not necessarily, man. Like, honestly, I would prefer to have more time shooting something, because then I would definitely have less time editing it.
That makes sense.
Because then I have more than enough to patch whatever needs to be patched, versus like scrambling and trying to force something to just make something to make sense out of something, or having to wait to get additional shoot for something. But I'd rather have 4 hours to shoot one video than only having an hour or something like that, or 30 minutes. Like, I'll have more time I'll have more clips to work with. So that's my personal opinion.
Yes, sir. That makes sense. And I really got to write these things down. There was something that you said in there. Oh yeah, because you were talking about releasing, people waiting for release. So one of the audience members was asking me, actually, he's like, man, when's Pyro going to release Alpha Party #1?
Nice. Hell yeah. So Alpha Party #2 is literally wrapping up right now. I just finished it almost last night. I think I gotta just do like
titles. You mean the last one we just shot at the Corinthian Center?
No, that's 3. That's 3.
Oh yeah.
So
Okay.
2's almost done, and I'm gonna start the 3rd one starting probably before this weekend.
So he was asking, when's the first one? When can he get the first one?
So first one is gonna be coming out. I can't give a date on it, but
that's what he was
I'm waiting for the second one. I'm waiting for the second one to fully get sealed up. Once it gets fully sealed up, I want to get the next one going. First one
So
going.
when's he gonna get the first one? Is what he's asking me.
Hey, I'm ready. I want to roll it out a certain way. So first one should be coming very soon, though. Very, very, very.
It'll be on the 1-year anniversary, everybody. The 1-year anniversary of Alpha.
Won't be that long. But that one's already done, ready to go. It's just literally, just having a release date and seeing how I want to I got some clips, like some promotion clips that's following up with it. So I could roll it out, and it should be coming very soon. Less than 30 days. I'll say that much. Less than 30 days.
You heard it here on Enlightened Masculinity first. September 6th, 2023, less than 30 days. That's October
30
6th.
days. Hey, I'm excited for that because even while I was rewatching it, I watched all of them really, and I'm just like, man, there's so much value behind this because you get a different perspective of, modern day women with certain ideas that, one, is not really talked about enough in social media, and two, you see how different ranges of mindsets get to interact with this insight that we're developing in the alpha male game show. So I'm excited for people to see that and seeing it with very, very good quality, man. Like, it's very, very, very good. You can see the facial reactions of everybody that's going on and how they're responding to certain things, and it's just great. I can't wait for it to drop for sure.
Yeah, me too. And at least one other audience.
You gotta build the anticipation. You gotta build it up a little bit, just a little bit.
Yeah, just can't be forgotten.
No, it won't be forgotten for sure. No.
That's because I keep bringing it up. That way it'll never get forgotten. I keep bringing it up, and that's awesome, man. It is really good quality. It is going to be a great learning experience. We should get it out there. The first clip, a clip from the first party. No, it was the second party. Was it the second party? I'm trying to see the clip. I think it might be the first party. I have to look. Anyway, one of the clips from either the first or second party is about to reach 1 million. It's at like 970K or so, 980K. And I forget when it was released, but in the last 4 to 8 weeks or somewhere in there, maybe 6 to 10. So that's pretty good. First 1 million single view video.
Nice.
And we have big things, big events coming up. Playboy and more music videos. Vegas got postponed, but we'll definitely be there. And yeah, right on. We'll even have another house party this month in San Jose. So yeah, no longer going to Vegas. That's news. No longer going to Vegas this month, but a party here in San Jose. So we'll collect some models and create some kind of reality event. I see it as a kind of a promo thing where it's like, let's say Tattoo Addicts is there. We could have him mock tattooing a girl. He doesn't actually tattoo her, but like set her up like she's about to get tattooed and capture some video of it. Cygnus is there and he just has a pretty girl on the couch or laughing. We tell him a joke or tell him a gambit and he starts running the gambit with 2 girls naturally and we record it. And there's some pre-selection. Yeah. Blood of Luna is there doing some hip hop scene or whatever. Who knows what he does? Giovanni is, reading a girl's stone or something. Powerhouse, he has his agency and he has the girl do a commercial about we're looking for new sales reps or whatever. And, on and on. So that's how I kind of see the party would be as something that we use for promo.
Nice.
That's why we got the girls. But while we also got the girls, then we're also doing practicing our social dynamics and learning the whole time. Now, I don't know if that's what AZD's going to go for, but I'm going to pitch him that. I think he'll like it because we're going to make this party different. It's not an RU Alpha party. It's just another game. I don't know. We could make it an alpha party, but that's just how I see it. So yeah. Right on. Well, we have good size audience. Everybody's been listening this whole time. Anybody else got questions? We got 9 minutes.
What's going on, everybody?
Yeah. Master Pyro, Phoenix, soon to be Los Angeles. He just gave us a lot of education, introductory education on videography and directing. I mean, all kinds of words, and the vocabulary just gets me on things that I don't normally think about. I understand the words more or less. So it's just like, really mind expanding for me.
Nice.
And yeah, that was the primary value that I got from it. Hearing your creative process was really nice. I saw a lot of analogies. So that was really valuable for me. And yeah, that's the main stuff. And then just getting to know you a little bit more about, being self-taught. I'm sure I asked some of the same questions episode after episode because it just doesn't sink in the last time.
No, it's still, I don't think it's directly the same at all. I think
if it is, it definitely comes from a different place because I've evolved.
Yeah, for sure. Likewise, man. It's been man, it's just great, man. Like sometimes I'm just lost to words of just how thing has transpired, man. Like, because I just knew, man. I always say this. I probably say this every episode. I'm probably still gonna say this every episode. Is that, I remember the day I sat in your car for the first time. I was like, bro, I know for a fact I'm going a long ways in whatever it is that wherever this car ride is gonna take me. Like,
Yeah, so long.
for sure. Because like I always wanted to learn from somebody that is world renowned, and that's the blessing that I have now working with AZD, and you're right hand to AZD. So I already knew, like, making that connection genuinely. It wasn't like it was genuine on both sides, and it was just amazing experience for me to have in my own hometown. And to be here speaking about it, being highly involved, like, man, I've shot every event for the last 2.5 years. I've been blessed to be able to be at the table to understand what's the next thing could possibly look like and how I can incorporate my skill set and what I know. That is like a huge life accomplishment already for myself. And sometimes, for myself, I'm like, man, I got to create more. That it helps me want to create more, because I was such high on the list for me that I'm like, okay, what's next for me? And keep pushing that red line of like the next level of creation past that. I mean, I never thought I'll be where I'm at as quick as I am, especially being surrounded with individual that is seeking the same level of experience that I'm wanting to live in this lifetime. So it's just profound for me to be on this because this podcast is like a timestamp for me. It's like a checkpoint for me.
Yeah, man, you definitely have left your stamp, and continue to create your stamp. And I'm remembering those times, and placing the date. It's a little bit before my first messengers. So it was before any Tabiat or first messengers. I was just another regular IMC student, like everyone you see out there. Maybe higher, further, in some ways, but so I remember that. So that's great. That was about 3 months before my Tabiat experience, before I got my neck tattoo and I had a full beard and everything.
Yeah,
and I should probably even include that video actually in my video highlight that I'll have the guy make.
Yeah, it was the first time I met a yogi, first of all. It's the first time I ever seen somebody bend their spine like that. I remember tripping out. I'm like, yo, this guy is on a whole nother level. And you were the first person that I met that was fasting after a certain time. I remember we went to I don't know what store it was, but you were like, yeah, I got to get something to eat at this place. It's almost 2:00. I got to break my fast. I remember going with you and like having this whole thing. I'm just like, man, it was just a whole different frequency that I was just, just never really experienced, So once again, to see that from that side of the fence to being all the way in the side of the fence, being involved in what's going on and everything at this, it's like at the eye of the storm, if you will. It's just, I don't have any words for it, but just, giving the value that I can bring, which is bringing individuals like, my brother Check the Star, bring him around, see how I can incorporate my network in what I got going on and how we can help, people that needs what we know into the environment and into the social world. Because man, it's just life-changing things that we do on a day-to-day, month-to-month basis that the world needs it at every level, and that's what I work on, trying to open those doors and what I know how to do and what I could bring to the table.
Man, it's great. And I know the audience loves it because all of the streaming platforms, they just kept accumulating viewers and they stayed on the whole time. So it never dropped. So they really like this episode. So we'll definitely have Master Pyro back on. That's right. And everybody online on the Zoom, appreciate your presence. Thanks to everybody on Instagram. And you can find Master Pyro. We'll have it linked in the description. So if you're catching it on Apple, Spotify, Podbean, click it, find out his stuff. And if you got any last words from Phoenix, maybe next time you'll be in LA when we do this, go ahead and share them.
Oh yeah, for sure. Next time you guys see me, I will be in LA Base 3. Shout out to all the LA IMC brothers out there. Y'all know the vibes. I'm ready to take over once I get there. So be ready.
Oh yeah, IMC Nation's worldwide. So you can find out how to train with AZD, and we got people probably near you. That'll be in the description also. See you guys on the next show. Os.